welcome to the Align with Aline podcast series 2. This series is all about the art of healing, and as it's my birthday week, I really wanted to talk about my favorite kind of healing, and that's healing with nature. And the wonderful Susanne Neff, who is a horse whisperer extraordinaire, has joined us again very generously to talk about the concept she described in a previous podcast is now ready. So huge congratulations. I'm delighted for you. So Anima Mundi is go.
Yes, definitely. Like we have it all set up now, and we even have a bank account that's internationally, and yeah, so it's all set.
Amazing. So the Anima Mundi is for the protection and rehabilitation of animals, nature, and humans, correct?
Yes.
All the things I love. So can you tell us a little bit more about it, please?
Yeah, the plan is really to have projects worldwide, and like we don't really necessarily need to own the ranches where this happens or takes place. Like the plan was really, I have a lot of friends that already have ranches, that already have horses, and or animals that already saved animals like dogs or horses. And sometimes the lack of funds, because of the lack of funds, they can't take on more animals, because like if you finance this privately, you know, it costs a lot of money. So my idea was that even if we don't own the properties, for example, if someone already has a property and wants to has space to save more animals, then we could come in and say, okay, save this dog, for example, and we give you the money to buy the food or pay for the castration or whatever, or for the dewormer or whatever. So it's a win-win situation. And also we have different projects, like some people have a ranch that's more about nature because it's a more of a agricultural place. Another one, they have horses, like I said. Others have dogs. So yeah, cats. Yeah. So it's not that it always have to be everything in one place. So the protection of the animals, nature, and people, but it can be separate. Let's say at one place it's almost like a just for restoring nature, and the other place can be just to protect or to save animals. So yeah, it can be separate, it can be all in one place, and the goal would also be that all these farms would be self-sufficient, that they don't need outside electricity, that they don't need food from outside, that they are self-sufficient completely. And I'm always trying to get new ideas from everywhere. I watched a movie a couple of days ago. It was so interesting how they described that they can provide electricity by having something like a little greenhouse, and so they're burning natural waste that usually goes to landfills or whatever. They're burning it, and they are with the warmth that they are producing, they are having a greenhouse where they have water ponds, and they are like breeding algae. And because of the burning of the natural waste material, they are having charcoal. So, and these are the two components that are the most needed to regenerate soil, because the problem is that we are somehow losing farmable soil every year, and more than we can restore. So it's somehow necessary to speed up this process, because if we would wait for a natural way to produce charcoal, it would take a long time, maybe 500 years. But if you just burn the wood or burn natural, some natural waste or wood or whatever, then you have charcoal, and then with the algae you have the minerals that are needed for the soil to regenerate. And both of this has various effects. They are also producing electricity through that, which can either
I was going to say, how does that work? Because obviously we've got solar power, we've got wind power. How does that work with the electricity then? How does...
I'm not exactly sure. I just know that somehow I saw on this what they did. They had this where they burn something, then they had this greenhouse, and on the outside there were solar panels, but they said they are producing so much heat and whatever that they could warm up either like 10 glass houses or with it, or like a small village or whatever. So it's somehow possible to do this.
Incredible.
And so yeah, that's something. There are a lot of things that are possible for the future, and I'm most delighted to know that there are ways to regenerate the earth. I don't know if I told you about this one example that I read in the book that really fascinated me. There was this orange tree and he was full of pesticides, and so they tested the oranges and it was completely full of pesticides, and the only thing they did is they put a whole bag of this, how do you call it? It's I don't know how to call it.
So in the orange tree underneath the roots, or they are so they work
around the roots.
Around the roots.
Yeah, they put
some kind of fertilizer.
Yeah, but it's called in German. It's called Urgesteinsmehl. So it's hold on, I have to think about it.
I studied GCSE German, but I don't know.
So
is it some kind of honey? No,
it's not just some stone that's crushed. It's a specific type of stone. For example,
we look it up.
There are these Schindler's minerals, and they are coming from a place where there has been a lake or ocean millions of years ago. So all these
fossils.
Yeah. So all these all these fossils and whatever, they contain a lot of calcium and whatever, and all these minerals, and the old seaweed and everything that's compressed into stone.
Yeah.
So that's a different stone than a regular stone because it has a lot of minerals and whatever, and the algae and whatever. So they crush it and they put this on the soil or around trees that have been somehow that have had too many pesticides. And then they just did this, put it underneath the orange trees around the root, and then they tested the oranges again.
How long later? How long did it take?
I don't know how long it took. It didn't take long. They didn't say that it took weeks or something. They just tested it right away again, and the tree absorbs instantly all the nutrients and the minerals. Amazing. And they couldn't find any residue of the pesticides anymore in the orange tree.
Wow, that's incredible. It'd be good to find out the name of that, because I think I told you where I live, it's not up to me what's put on the land. Unfortunately, it will be very soon. And they put pesticide down that poisoned my cat. He's absolutely fine. We had a couple of nights of it, but it would be amazing to know that and to educate people that you don't have to put chemicals down, because, well, we know, and many people know, that it's detrimental, but it's finding a solution, isn't it? That's amazing.
Yeah.
So are you looking up the name?
Yes. Yeah. So it's they just wrote prehistoric rock.
Fossil. Yeah, fossil.
Yeah. Bedrock.
Prehistoric rock. Okay.
Bedrock.
Yeah.
So
okay, thank you. I'll
yeah, and they just crush it, and then they it's like a fertilizer.
That's amazing. Absolutely amazing. So your plans then, because I know obviously the idea is to have ranches, is it worldwide? Is it Europe? Is it the whole world? I mean, Anima Mundi, it's the world, isn't it? But
it's the world, exactly. Yeah, it's the world. Okay. So I have one friend who has already saved animals, horses, dogs, and she also has how do you call this? When someone is doing a lot for the garden, so she has all these plants and whatever. She has this whole business.
Rewilding. Rewilding?
No, it's just a business where she's selling plants and educating people about about building gardens and whatever.
Okay, so she's got what, like a garden center or
something similar, I think. It's not a garden center per se. She's having workshops about how they can build a garden, and she's selling seeds and whatever.
Permaculture?
It's also not permaculture what she's doing. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, but like she has a place where she's already doing that, and so this is a project that we could support. Then I have one friend in Costa Rica. She's breeding Andalusians, and so the horses. So she has like, I don't know, 20 or 30 horses, and she would also be interested to participate somehow. Then we have someone. She is in Peru. And she just bought, she is from Germany, but she's originally from Turkey. And she bought a property in the mountains, and she wants to build a healing center there. And so she wants to plant all the medicinal plants there, and that people could come and rehabilitate at the center. Like this would be more of a center for people, but also some animals. And then I have a friend who has a lot of agriculture in Serbia, and she also wants to build a holistic center. So I have already a couple of friends who have the same idea, just at another place.
Yes, wonderful, excellent. So you're where you are at the moment. You're in Germany, aren't you?
Yes.
And is your plan to create something? Are you in the process of creating something in Germany at the moment?
Yeah, we have different projects where we are thinking about where to go in which direction, because it has to be close by. We were also thinking about renting a place. We were thinking about buying a place together with other people. So it's still up in the air what we finally decide on. Or so yeah, there are at the moment different options, and so it's all starting out, and we are just getting members and looking for places where we can do this, and yeah.
Brilliant. So where did the original idea come from?
The original idea came from my shamans, because like I have been working with horses for such a long time. Since I was 5 or 6. And they told me that one day I either have to participate or be a member of an organization for the protection of horses or animals. Or if I don't like how they are dealing with things, then I should found one myself. And I looked up all the organizations and what they are doing and how they're doing it. And it wasn't just how I imagined it. And that's why I founded my own association. Or it's not my association, because I founded it with 3 other people that have the same idea. And then more members are coming together for this dream. So it's a non-profit organization. So we don't earn money with doing that. It's something that I do besides my regular work.
And if you can share with me later all the information, because I take it now you've got the bank account ready, it's now official, then people can donate.
Definitely, yeah. Okay. So just sometimes for some countries, they would just have to say from which country they are sending money, because then you get a specific number for a specific country. So a bank account number, because like that was really why I wanted the bank at this Belgium bank, because then you have the possibility to have different bank accounts under your bank account, that you don't have to pay always this wiring fee, because it takes away a lot of the money, and it's a pity, because
absolutely, because it can go to the animals and the humans and the environment. Brilliant. I think I know which bank you're talking about. So it's online, isn't it? So they take away like the banker transfer fees. There's a little one, but not as much.
Exactly, because usually if I transfer or wire money to the US, I pay every time like 20 euros. And if you have a bank account with these sub-bank accounts for the different countries, they can just transfer the money in their currency without having to pay for the transfer fee and whatever. And then, so in that way, we can like save money, or like you said,
100% goes to what matters.
Yeah, exactly.
Excellent. So the other 3 people who you founded Anima Mundi with,
the other 2.
Sorry, there's 3 of you. The other 2 people that you founded Anima Mundi with. So what's their stories? What's their background?
So Andrea, who founded it with me, she also had horses all her life, and also dogs, and she has a lot of rescue dogs from shelters. And when she goes to do a vacation in Greece or whatever, her boyfriend always complained that she bought dog food and she fed all the dogs on the streets and whatever.
Yeah, I know.
She's like a humanitarian and also a animal lover, and she really has the same mission or vision like me. So that's her main goal. And Reinhold is her cousin, and he is a chiropractor, so he's really a healer, and he really wants to bring this healing to humans especially. Whereas me and Andrea are more responsible for animals, but he also does things for animals with the Healy or things like that. So it's not that he's just focused on healing people.
That's wonderful, because all bases are covered.
And also what they are doing sometimes is they are also clearing spaces with the Healy, like through the frequencies, whereas I do it in a more shamanic way. I go to the property and do a house cleansing, or do this with Archangel Michael, this grid to clean the land from old things and whatever. So I even do this over distance. Like, for example, a friend of mine called me from the UK, and she said that she has issues at her place, and so I did this for her. And so this is also fascinating to me, because after she called me and she's like, Susanna, all the clocks at the whole barn stopped working this morning after you did this. And I'm like, okay, well then it's really working. And because then you have this dimensional shift if something really happened. And that's always good for me to see that it really works. It's not just or for me this is proof that it does something. And
it's interesting, because I know you're an incredible healer, and I know that it would work, but there's that little element, isn't there? It's like, well, I just need a little bit of evidence, please, to tell me that it did actually do something.
Definitely.
Brilliant. So you've already mentioned, obviously, that Anima Mundi is 100% non-profit, and you're doing this as well as your other work. So we've spoken about in the previous podcast about some of your other work, but we didn't speak about the house cleansing and the land cleansing. And I'm massively interested in this as well. So we're in New Moon today. And as we know, New Moon is, it's all about just preparing everything clear to welcome in the new and really looking after ourselves. Do you have any kind of advice for any of the listeners, any of the watchers, in terms of how to prepare themselves, how to prepare their homes as well, which would be really nice for the new moon? For example, I just washed my floor with basil. That's a really good one. Do you have any rituals that, obviously not tell us exactly what your ritual is, because it's a private thing, but do you have anything that you would suggest to people to do?
Well, I think, like shown in most movies, there are witches that work more with fire, some work more with water, some work more with air, and some more with akasha or whatever. And so my thing is really fire cleansing. So I love smudging, I love candle magic, so I do all of this. And so I just burn almost every day. I burn some incense sticks, or I go through my house with Paulo Santo. And We could do a whole session again about
I know. We'll say that's another one.
because that's one of my favorite things to do.
I love it.
And yeah, it's also interesting that I always somehow come to houses where it's not just a simple house cleansing. It doesn't. It's not sufficient. Like some houses are so easy, and some houses, like for example, in the flat I'm living now, it took me a year to cleanse it, and usually it's done in a day or something. Yeah.
A year.
And
Wow.
yeah, because there were so many things. I like people died in here with drug abuse and had severe depression, and in this house, and like then there were ghosts here and things like that. So these were different layers, and and before there were also like people that would steal things in the house and things like that. So the why I'm telling you this is I was at the end of my wits, because I didn't know what to do anymore. And I thought I knew everything. I'm so good already at house cleaning. I don't need anyone else. And so I'm like, okay, at this point, I don't know what to do anymore, because people are unemployed in the house, and the marriages break up, and like people break in, and there is drug abuse. So what is wrong? And then I read a lot about it, and it said that if the currency is wrong, like somehow this the energy is not flowing, then you have to do something like earth acupuncture. And so I called a guy, and he did this acupuncture. And then I said, well, it's still not okay. He said, call me every day and tell me if it's better or not. And then he somehow lifted also a curse from the house. And since then, it was really good. And all the people that are living here now are employed. It stopped the fighting in the house. All the people that were negative moved out. And there's no drug abuse, no parties anymore in the house. So it completely shifted. And that's something I'm so fascinated by, if the energy can shift so completely.
That's amazing. Absolutely amazing. No, I love that. I'm hugely interested in house cleansing. And where one of the places that I've just been, I got a message from one of the members of the household saying that somebody who lived there, who never tidied their room, it was complete clutter. They said, because I just sent a joke saying I was doing some magic in there, haha. And she sent a message saying, your magic must have worked, because such and such, who never tidies their room, lives in a complete disaster, is now having a clear out and wants to live in a calm environment. So whatever we do internally, because I guess as well, you would have been doing so much internal inner work, and that would have been affecting your environment as well, wouldn't it?
Definitely. Definitely. Yeah. And I'm currently writing a book about dragon magic.
About that.
Yeah, and so I'm really fascinated in everything in the dragons in the land, and how to reawaken the dragons, because they're really like awaken the ley lines from different vortexes. And so I'm also doing in September a workshop together with Marko Bogacnik. He's from Slovenia, and he's one of the most renowned geomants.
Geomancers, okay.
Geomancers, yeah. So he's doing geomancy, and so I'm really excited about the workshop, how it will turn out. My parents already went to a workshop with him, and they were over the moon. And yeah, so I'm really excited about going and learning more about how to balance the earth, and like how to heal the earth where it has been wounded through wars, through whatever. Buildings,
because it sinks in, doesn't it? So even from hundreds and hundreds of years ago, that energy is still in there, isn't it? Some of the ley lines need fixing and put back together, reconnected.
Yeah, or if they build a building on the wrong spot, that it's really disturbing the feng shui and whatever. So how you can balance all this, what similar to what he did, this guy did here with the earth acupuncture. So this is something I'm really interested in how you can
balance. you're organizing the course, or you're going to the course?
I'm just going. I'm not organizing.
And then you'll organize your own course.
Yeah, probably.
Brilliant. So one of the things I'd already mentioned, it's my birthday week, and I love animals and I adore cats. And I just was going to ask you as well, I mean, we're talking about shamanism. Obviously you have lots of experience in shamanism, and I don't know where I'm going with this, but I'm going somewhere with it, so bear with me. So I know what I was going to speak about, because animals teach us so much, don't they? So much. So if there is somebody with their own animals, for example, I mean, I've just been away and I returned, and one of my cats was a bit haywire. He's much calmer now. He's absolutely fine. We worked on it. It's okay. But sometimes, and oftentimes, would you say that animals reflect what energy is going on around them?
Definitely.
Yeah. So if there is somebody, for example, I mean, we've already spoken about the house cleansing, but when animals pick up on things, and for some people who don't understand that actually they're just mirroring what's going on with them, what would you suggest to anybody who's experienced slightly behavioral issues, well, what they think are behavioral issues with their animals? Is there anything when you go to houses or when you help people with their animals is like a go-to that you can immediately help calm them? So for example, I'll work with my hands, I don't touch them, but I work around them. Is there anything that you do that everybody could do?
Yes.
That you would suggest? And I don't know where that came from and why I've asked that, but there's obviously a reason.
Yeah, so definitely. So I'm doing this for a long time. I observed for a long time that the horses, for example, in the clinics, completely mirrored their owners.
Mm-hmm.
And what I used to do is that if I gave, for example, Bach flowers to the horse, I would also recommend that the owner would take it at the same time. They just can go to the pharmacy and get this mixture and take it as well. This already helps. And for example, some animals were really afraid of separation, or they got really anxious during fireworks or whatever. And what really helps, and is so simple, for example, if they get anxious, the dogs, if you leave them at home and you're going away and they are not used to you being away, then you can just talk to them. And really, also it might seem stupid, because like you think, oh, they cannot hear me, they don't understand me. They somehow get it because they are telepathic. So you can even just think it and say, listen, I'm just going to work, I'm gonna come back, don't worry, don't be afraid, and whatever. And I had this with a dog of my friend. She said, I don't know what to do with this dog. I almost have to give him a tranquilizer every time there is fireworks and on New Year. And so I said, first of all, give her some Bach flowers, some rescue remedies, and then talk to her and say that it's not a war, nothing will happen to you, you're safe in the house and whatever. And just by talking to her and giving her the Bach flowers, the dog completely calmed down. And she said it was the calmest she ever was on New Year's. And the same is something I'm doing with the horses. Like always, when midnight struck, or before I went down, I gave every horse a cookie. There were like 20 or 30 horses in the barn. I gave them a cookie with rescue remedies. I talked to them. I'm like, don't be afraid. Even if it's going to get loud now, don't worry. Nothing will happen to you. You're safe here. This is just for a short time and whatever. And they will get it. They respond differently as if they are unprepared, or as if you just let them or as if you just let it happen. And then yeah.
And what I like to do as well, that's really beautiful. And I'll tell you a little bit of synchronicity. Guess what I'm studying? And actually it's today, but I can't attend because it's about 3:00 in the morning. So tomorrow I am studying Bach flowers for animals.
Yeah.
And because what I also like to do as well, so for example, when it was International Cat Day when I was away, And I tuned in, I came in and I tuned in. And it might sound silly, but animals feel you doing that. Even if you feel stupid doing it, it's like Susanne said, they're telepathic and they can feel it. And if you're just sending images of love to them, they can feel that, when you're away as well. That's why I tuned in with my cats on International Cat Day. They weren't very happy. Like, where are you? Yeah. So yeah, I connected with them and they knew I was coming. So
yeah.
No,
it's interesting that you're studying it. I also, when I studied behavior therapy and psychology for animals, I also learned about biosalts and Bach flowers and homeopathics for animals. So that definitely has an effect. And also something simple that you can do is heart breathing. So you just imagine a pink cord going from your heart to the horse's heart or to the cat's heart or dog's heart. Yeah. And then if you breathe out, the energy flows to the animal. And if you breathe in, it flows back to you. And if you have the feeling the heart rate of them is up because they're nervous, or if a horse is running around in a pasture and cannot calm down, for example, I saw this once. There was a horse completely going crazy, running around. And it was like a kilometer away or whatever. And I just imagined myself with this bond. And I just started to breathe slowly until the horse stopped and it looked directly at me, like from this huge distance. And I'm like, okay, it's working.
Wow.
Yeah.
Beautiful. I mean, I like to do when I'm next to them, where their heart chakras are on their paws and obviously here as well. I've been doing lots of green energy. I've been doing lots of kind of green going between us. But I love the fact that you're about 1 kilometer away across the field. That's incredible. So that's not the only book that that you've written, is it? The Dragon Magic. There's many more books.
I wrote 3 books, but only one of them is in English, Spanish, German, and French. The other ones are just in German.
Yeah. I've got them from, because obviously you shared all the information before. I will share it again. So, and then if you can send me, please, all the information of how people can donate. Is there a website up and running now, I imagine, as well for Anima Mundi?
Yeah, it is, but it's still in German. So I'm not sure how to do it again. Yeah, I have an idea. We can also just put the text underneath in English or whatever for now.
And also people can, when it automatically comes up and says, would you like to translate this on your computer as well? So there's an automatic translation as well. But I will share that anyway.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, well, thank you so much for joining me today, my lovely, for all your wisdom, all that you do in the world. Amazing, amazing, amazing. And just incredible. I'm so excited to see you today. Yay, love the pattern behind. And I just wish, not that you need it, but I wish you all the luck in the world for Anima Mundi. We're going to talk a little bit about how I can be involved as well. And would you say if there's anybody watching who feels very, very drawn to be involved, they've got ranches, they've got farms already where they look after the animals, they've got rescue animals, they have land and they'd really like to be involved, can they get in touch with you? Is that okay?
Definitely, yeah, I would love that. It's Brilliant. Always welcome, and we always are looking to expand and bring it into the world. It's really a project for the whole world, for the healing and for the animals, and yeah.
Beautiful. So I will put all the details there for you. So if you're really feeling to get in touch with Susanne, please do listen to that first intuition, and just all the luck in the world, my lovely, all the love. Amazing what you do, and thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very, very much. Mwah. Lots of love. Ho.
Ho.